All right, guys. So this is the little quick PowerPoint about mass media. There's a different PowerPoint for propaganda. So this one again is just for mass media. So first thing that we need to get to is what is mass media, okay? It is any source of media that reaches a large audience. And you guys want to make sure that you write down a couple examples of it, okay? So first off, we have newspapers, okay? That's our freedom of press that we talked about. Magazines would also fall in that same category. We have the TV and the internet, right? More and more nowadays, okay? Newspapers are less of a primary way, or in the print form. Main way that we normally get our news now is through online articles or videos online and what we get on TV. People still do use newspapers, they copies, but and you need to know that. But as you guys just think about it, as we move more and more into a digital age, computers and TV are the primary way. Okay. So yeah, all right. Here are a couple of them. First, it's identify candidates. All right. We want to. This little article down here is a good example of it. Okay. We want to identify who's running. So you guys could probably jot down or think of an example that an article saying Hillary gets nominated as Democratic nominee. Okay, that's identifying one candidate, and or if it says two president, two president Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump presidential hopefuls debate. Okay, it's identifying the candidates for you. All right, that one's normally the easiest role of media to understand. The second is emphasizing select issues. Okay, this is whenever a newspaper or a TV host is talking about a particular issue. Okay, so for instance, if the media on the Sunday morning talk show wanted to sit down Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton to talk about their tax plans, all right, that'd be them emphasizing a selected issue. All right, it's when they talk about one particular topic specifically, they're highlighting it. Third is writing editorials or political cartoons. Okay, editorials and op-eds are the way of newspapers conveying their point of view on a candidate. Okay, and then political cartoons like down here is a way for them to also kind of express their opinion and give the people an idea of how that paper feels about a particular candidate. And our last one is to broadcast different viewpoints. Okay. Most newspapers do a really good job of this, of trying to give people a greater sense. Okay. Remember that sometimes one thing we really have to look out for when we're broadcasting and stuff is that we need to be looking out for bias, right? Making sure that people aren't taking a one-sided point of view. And so this is why some people don't like certain news organizations, Like, for instance, some people sometimes feel that MSNBC is normally a little more liberal, okay? And so they might be a little bit more biased and they might not broadcast conservative viewpoint really well. And people might feel the same way about Fox News and saying that it normally portrays stuff in a more conservative light and is not very well rounded in giving any sort of more a liberal perspective on certain issues that are at hand. So bias is found in all sorts of news organizations. Just wanted to give you guys those two examples because those are two that a lot of people normally, they're very good just baseline examples to use. Okay, so that covers the roles of the media. The second thing that we need to know, though, is how strategies to evaluating campaign information. We get pounded during election years with commercials, okay, ads on the side of our websites, campaigning for each of the political candidates, okay? So we really need to know how we differentiate between what is fact and what is fiction and what is really biased and what's slightly biased and maybe a little bit closer to the truth and something that's maybe a little bit more reliable. All right, so the first thing is that we have to do is we have to separate fact from opinion. Okay, is this faux show? Okay, is what I'm reading a true statement? Is it a fact or is it how somebody feels? Okay, and a good way to kind of think of this, guys, is whenever you guys are writing your current events and stuff, right, you guys are writing about the facts for us, okay, not writing opinions because we want to know exactly what happened and things like that. All right. So when you ever see somebody saying about how they think or feel about something as the writer, okay, that's more of an opinion than the fact. All right. Detecting bias, right? You always need to make sure that you're able to detect whose point of view is this, right? So whenever we see a commercial for somebody, right, it's probably pretty simple for us to be able to figure out who's it biased towards, right? Or whose point of view is it from, right? If it says something, if everything's really positive about Donald Trump, right, that means that it's normally going to be a little more biased towards him, or vice versa. If something was really positive about Hillary Clinton, right, it's obviously coming from somebody that's a supporter of that candidate. All right. And on the flip side, if somebody's doing mudslinging, okay, saying really, really nasty things about Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, okay, that would be somebody that's obviously, okay, if you're saying mean things about Donald Trump, right, you're normally going to be on the side more likely to vote for Hillary Clinton, and vice versa. If you're saying, like running a commercial that is more negative towards Hillary Clinton or nasty, then you're more likely to be a proponent or somebody advocating for Donald Trump. Okay. The next one is that you need to evaluate their sources. Who said that? Okay. Who said it? Who is it that's telling you this, right? So if somebody, one of your one of the students you sit next to tells you that, the sky is purple, right? Are you going to trust that? No. Okay. One, you guys have enough knowledge to understand that that's not true, but you guys really need to make sure that whatever you're reading is a credible source of information, right? If you guys read something that's like the New York Times, CNN, any major broadcasting network, that's normally going to be a pretty reliable source. If you go and just do a Google search and the first thing is a Mr. Grant's hodgepodge opinion page, get all of your news, election info from there, okay? Hopefully, I will normally only give you guys a credible source, but so that's not the best example. Probably a better example would just be Joe Schmo's theories about the universe and how aliens are going to take over the planet. Oh, and also get your election news and notes here, right? That's probably not your best news source to go check out. And then the last one is just identifying propaganda, which when you exchange notes, you should hopefully be able to see all the propaganda techniques, okay, that people do. You need to make sure that you can identify how exactly people are trying to trick you or not, and dissuade you or persuade you to think of somebody in a more positive or negative light. So that right there, guys, is all the strategies for evaluating campaign information, and then also all the roles of the media. All right. So make sure you take down these notes, you exchange them with some of your table mates. That way everyone gets all the same notes. Good stuff.